Hey YouTubers, so I have a ramble right now, and it's big ass ramble like the big ass cigar. So this ramble is actually a question for myself, a question for Smoky Essie, and the question is we're gonna answer right now is have I ever gotten food poisoning? And the answer is probably not. As far as I can tell, as far as I can remember throughout my life, I have never gotten food poisoning. Now you might say, what is food poisoning? Food poisoning is basically when you eat food that's tainted, not tainted as in your taint, which is a space between your private parts, your penis and your nutsack, that kind of crap, being silly ass like the big ass cigar. But basically, tainted, like for example, somebody might not wash their hands before preparing food. It might touch food with dirty, filthy hands, shitty hands in general. So that's essentially what food poisoning is. Now, I think most people know what food poisoning is. Now, I've never had it before. As far as I can remember, I've never had food poisoning before. Now, there was one time a long ass time ago when I was probably 8 years old that we thought I had food poisoning, but it turned out not to be the case. I've told this story before, but I'll tell this story again. Basically, I was 8 years old in an after-school program after my special ed, day program, and basically we made pizza, nice big ass pizza like the big ass cigar homemade pizza. I came home, I felt perfectly fine, and then around 10 o'clock at night, I started throwing up. Basically, I threw up over and over and over again, and to the point where it was just bile, like bile, and it was nasty. It was probably one of the most horrific experiences in my life. Just literally throwing up, probably no exaggeration, 30 plus times. I didn't want to ruin anyone's imagination of pizza, just to be fair. So, anyway, yeah, that's what happened. And my mother immediately thought back then, this is going back to the 1990s or early 2000s. She thought, oh, it must have been food poisoning. The funny thing is, out of all the people who went to that after school program, because it wasn't just me, I was the only one who got sick. So, chances are, if everyone ate that same pizza and I was the only one who got sick, chances are it was not the pizza itself, the fucking pizza itself. It was, I was coming down with a stomach virus, and I didn't realize at the time because I might have been, coming down with a stomach bug and not realize at the time. Because if the pizza was tainted, again, not tainted as in your taint, if it was tainted, yeah, as farted, yeah, big ass farts for life, then you would think that everyone who ate the same pizza would get sick. But I was the only one who got sick, and we confirmed that by talking to people. So, aside from that time, that's the only possible time I had food poisoning. Now, I have gotten capsaicin cramps from eating spicy food, basically like peppers, not peckers, hot sauce, big ass hot sauce like the big ass cigar. For example, spicy foods in general. I have gotten what's called capsaicin cramps. However, that's not food poisoning, and it's not fucking food poisoning. So, capsaicin cramps are a different type of discomfort than food poisoning. And aside from that, I can't think of any other times. I did recently over the weekend eat some candy, and it was very, very hard. Not hard as in your pecker, your dick, but basically hard as in just basically really rock hard. I checked the expiration date. It said it was expired in June of 2024, so maybe it was still fresh, but it tasted hard as a rock, and also it tasted incredibly, like there was no flavor there, but I ate it anyway, and I got kind of a little bit of reflux. I wouldn't call it food poisoning. I would just call it maybe I ate it too fast and it just kind of didn't agree with me. But it's not really food poisoning because food poisoning is typically a few hours afterwards, several hours afterwards, and it's usually defined as like vomiting, like getting really fucking sick and vomiting. So this isn't really food poisoning. It's more like a little bit of acid reflux and a little bit like a bellyache. So I really wouldn't call that crap. And obviously throughout my life, I've had times where I've got like a little bit of a bellyache from food, like garlic, for example, that kind of crap. But anyway, have a nice day. Bye bye.